Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 2nd, and we have one work session today. And as you all know, a work session is, we've already had the public hearing, and this will be with the committee members to come to some resolve or vote on this bill. And so I'll begin by introducing myself. I am Senator Susan DeChambeau and Senate co-chair, and I represent District 32, and that is Biddeford, Lyman, Dayton, Elford, Arundel, and Kennebunk-Port. And I'll have Representative Warren introduce herself. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator DeChambeau. Good morning, everyone. My name is Charlotte Warren, and I represent the city of Hallowell and the towns of West Gardner and Manchester.
Thank you. Senator Searway.
Good morning. I'm Senator Scott Searway, and I represent District 16, which covers Waterville, Winslow, Fairfield, Benton, Albion, and Fletton, and Unity Township.
And Representative Pickett.
Good morning, Senator. My name is Dick Pickett. I represent District 116, the towns of Mexico, Dixfield, Peru, Canton, and Hartford in the snowy white mountains of Maine.
Thank you. I think I just kicked myself off here. Okay, I'll go Representative Newman.
Good morning. I'm Dan Newman, District 76, which is Belgrade, Rome, Mount Vernon, Vienna, Fayette, and Wayne.
Oh, Senator, you are on mute. And now she's gone. Representative Pickett, did you have a chance to go yet? You did. Okay.
Sorry about that. I touched the wrong button and I kicked myself out. So, all right. I will have Representative Rudnicki introduce herself, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am Shelley Rudnicki. I represent House District 108, which is Fairfield, Mercer, and Smithfield.
Okay. Representative Costain.
Good morning, Senator. Dan Costain, District 100, which is part of Etna, Dixmoor, Plymouth, Newport, and Corinna. Thank you.
Nice to see you. Haven't seen you for a bit. Okay. And Representative Lookner.
Morning, I'm Representative Grayson Lookner. I'm in Portland, District 37.
Thank you. And so today we have, I want to introduce our policy analyst, Jane Overton. There she is. And our committee clerk is Deb Fahey. And you will notice that the LD that's on her screen, LD 1175, is the bill we'll be discussing and voting on today. And the title of the bill, LD 1175, is an act to prohibit excessive telephone, video, and commissary charges in the Maine jails and prison. And we have the sponsor with us, Representative Kinney. Welcome.
Thank you.
I will begin with Ms. Overton. Do you have a policy analysis?
That's okay. Hi. I didn't do a bill analysis on this bill because we've worked it a number of times, but the last time that you worked it, Representative Kinney expressed an interest in working with the department, the sheriffs, and other interested parties on an amendment. And they have something for you. I would just remind you that you do have an ought to pass as amended motion on the floor. It was made by Representative Morales, seconded by Representative Warren. So I'll turn it over to whoever you'd like to hear from next.
I can't remember what that amendment was then.
This is the telephone amendment that I just resent it to you. It's dated March 1st.
Okay,
And I think there are some people in the waiting room. And the only person, I do know that the Commissioner Liberty is there and that he has a time constraint and will have to leave.
okay, good.
Madam Chair, could we please
yes.
bring in Courtney Allen and Commissioner Liberty?
Yes, I was gonna also turn it over to Representative Kinney. Yes, please do, Ms. Fahey, to bring those two in.
And I see that Representative Pickett has his hand up.
Whoops. Representative Pickett?
Yes, I was just, on the ought to pass amended, I've got that where it went in before we tabled the bill. I've got that down there, but that amendment on that day, the bill amended that day before we tabled that. I guess what I want to know is that's not the amendment that we had that has been worked on since that time that we just got from that Courtney and Representative Kinney worked on last week in the Sheriff's Department and all the others. Is that correct?
That's what I presume, and that's why I was going to turn it over to Representative Kinney if she could give us a little historical perspective, but I think Representative Pickett may be on something. Representative Kinney, could you begin, please?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Senator DeChambeau. I did meet with Courtney Allen, Representative Warren, and Representative Pickett last Wednesday when we were in session and before session began, and we really went through the amendment and wanted to address the issues that the Sheriff's Association had regarding being forced to do some of these things at a cost that would be around $500,000. So we eliminated the sheriffs, the county jails from this bill, with the exception of, I believe it was indigent services. They would still have a piece within this. And
Just in the DOC for the indigent.
Right, into just the DOC. And just as a point of clarification, I think where Representative Morales is not here to withdraw her motion, I think you would have to dispense and and fail that motion before being able to make a motion on this. Just my point of clarification there for point of order, because she can't rescind her motion if she's not here.
Okay.
But this amendment, I think Courtney can come to more of an analysis on this because she worked more directly with the Sheriff's Association after we met and got more information from them.
So we tabled Representative Morales's motion. Is that what we did? Or Representative Warren, can you help me on that one?
Madam Chair, the ought to pass as amended motion, which will come out of this committee, regardless of if it was a previous amendment or if it will be the amendment we move today, an ought to pass amendment will be the same amendment. But we'll deal with the procedural issues after. Certainly, Representative Kinney, we can deal with that as a committee. Thank you. The indigent free phone calls, any free phone calls at all, is no longer a part of the county jails. The sheriffs sent us an email and said, if you remove the free phone calls from the bill, the Sheriff's Association will support the bill. That was what was giving them a lot of struggle. Deb, would you share that email? So this is Mary Ann Lamar from the Maine, she's the executive director of the Maine Sheriff's Association. Good afternoon. The sheriffs discussed this proposal today and agreed if there was no mandate for county and regional jails to provide free phone calls, we will accept this amended language. Thank you, Deb. So the bill in front of you, the amendment in front of you, is different for the Department of Corrections than it is for the county jails. And I'm going to let the commissioner speak to the portion that has to do with the Department of Corrections.
Good morning, everyone. We are in agreement with the amended language. This serves us, and I think the residents in our care well. And so the language is agreeable to the DOC.
And Madam, thank you, Commissioner. And I want to personally thank you for your leadership. You really stepped in and led on this bill, and we really, really appreciate that. Madam Chair, would it be appropriate at this point for Ms. Allen to just walk through and let all of it, now that we know that the sheriffs are on board, the Department of Corrections is on board, Representative Kinney is on board, Representative Pickett's on board, I'm on board. Could we now have Ms. Allen walk through the amendment and let everybody know what this amendment does? And maybe Deb could do a screen share while she walks through.
Yes, go right ahead, Courtney. Well, Miss Allen. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Thank you, Senator.
Okay. And I'm looking at it really for the first time, but go ahead. I don't know, is Deb gonna screen share? There it is. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. And just in case anybody's watching that doesn't know me, my name is Courtney Allen. I'm the policy director of the Maine Recovery Advocacy Project. So we have worked with Jane and with all of the related parties listed at the top of the bill to draft this new amendment. It's in two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A is applicable to the Department of Corrections and Part B is applicable to the county facilities. So Part A says that as of October 1st, the department and a service provider, AKA like Securus Tech or some other company that they partner with to provide contracts to the department, will provide telephone services in accordance with this section. It includes the ability, if you want to scroll down. So section 1 is just definitions. Section 2 provides for 30 minutes of phone calls to family members or friends for people who are deemed indigent by the department. And the department has let us know that that for them means that the resident has $10 or less in their account. So this does not apply to everybody who is incarcerated, only folks who do not have money in their commissary account to pay for the calls. So 30 minutes for families and friends, and then 30 minutes for their lawyers as well a week. And if you want to scroll down, section 2 is the portion of the bill that we've talked a lot about, which would make it so that the rates have to meet the same rates that the Federal Communications Commission applies to calls between states. The department does already currently meet these rates. For the department level, it's 12 cents per minute. They're currently at 9 cents per minute. So they would already be in alliance with this bill. And also, this bill would not go into effect until October 1st, 2022, and would be applicable to any new contract that is negotiated or brought into. So if there is currently a contract that is happening and isn't going to end till hypothetically 2023, this bill would not affect that contract until it's renewed. We didn't want to get in the middle of current contracts that the department or the counties may currently have with their providers. The rest of the language under 3 is language that comes directly from the Federal Communications Commissions. And we also took out delineating exactly how much per minute the contracts could be in case the Federal Communications Commission ever deems it necessary to increase the rates per minute. This way, the department and the counties would not have to come back to the legislature and ask for permission to increase those rates. They would just have to follow whatever the Federal Communications Commission deems appropriate for these type of contracts now and in the future. Okay, if you want to slide down. So that is part A for the Department of Corrections, and part B is applicable to the county jail facilities. It is pretty much the same exact language as the departments, except it does not include free phone calls for folks who are indigent. So there were no requirement for the county jails to provide free phone calls, which is what they were having a hard time coming to an agreement on. So if you want to slide down, it's exactly the same language in Part B2, and it applies to the county jails, both in-state phone calls and in out-of-state phone calls. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Representative Pickett?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. Thank you, Courtney, for being here. I just wanted to make a comment. I really appreciate the fact of how you worked together with Representative Kinney last week and ironed out some of these things. And you also have been in touch with the Sheriff's Department and all the other, the DOC and everybody that has been involved in this. And it really shows that a bill that last year before we carried it over looked like it probably wasn't ever going to see the light of day has come full circle and is now going to be a bill that is going to be helpful and going to make life a little easier for people that are in jails and prisons around our state. So I want to thank you personally for the hard work that you put in on it.
Thank you, Representative Pickett. We're very proud of the way that we've worked together with all of the parties, and including my son, who many of you know that this bill was came from his little brain. He's sitting here listening to the committee today and is also in favor of this amendment, and thanks your committee and Representative Kinney for all of your hard work.
Very good. I now have Representative Costain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I have a question. I don't know if it's appropriate for Ms. Courtney or for the commissioner, but I saw in the amendment where it says that the attorney, they can talk to their attorney for a half an hour. I guess my question is probably more of a legal thing. Do we have a right to control how long they talk to their attorney? I mean, if they're indigent and they can't pay and we're telling them they can have a half an hour, but they need to speak to the attorney for an hour, where do we get into liability there? And like I said, it may be a question for the commissioner.
Thank you, Representative. There have to be limitations. Otherwise, the question becomes one of reasonableness. And, they have access to their attorneys in person. They have access to the attorneys via the phone. And that falls within my belief of reasonableness. It's more than what they're getting now. And that's been sustained, I think, in court.
Follow up, ma'am?
Yes, go right ahead.
So, I mean, if they're in the depth of a conversation the day before a trial, I mean, you're not just going to cut them off if they need another 5 or 10 minutes talking to them, or is the phone system set up so the 30 minutes it just cuts off?
Thank you. Good question, Representative. What we would do then is we'd coordinate with the unit team, and the caseworker in the unit would ensure that they'd have proper time outside of that 30 minutes that they're allotted.
One more follow-up, ma'am.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
So back to the county jail. So we've taken phone calls out for them, free phone calls. So can you say how that's dealt with there, with their right to an attorney, et cetera, at the county level?
Commissioner Liberty, can you answer that?
I'm sorry, I was.
I know, I didn't know what that look was.
I thought it was a county jail question. And so what happens is when they arrive, they receive 2 free phone calls to begin that journey. And that can be to anyone they wish. And then what happens then is the county jails manage that case by case sort of scenario to assist them with bail calls and with attorney calls. And my experience in the county jails is most often the attorneys are local. You know, they're court appointed or they're a local attorney, and they most often do in-person visits in the visit room to have that legal counsel.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Representative Kinney, you have a comment or question?
I do, and this is just kind of a clarifying with the part about the $10 in the residence facility account. I guess my question would be
Yes.
if they have like $3 in their account today, but normally they keep it around $50. Would they be qualifying on the day they only have $3 in their account for these free calls, or is there a better definition that should be put in for the indigent services?
Thank you, Representative. We're working through policy now, but as part of the negotiation, as we work through this bill, we agreed we would not claw money back. And so I suspect that it'll land on a week by week assessment. And if that week they have less than $10 in their account, they'll be eligible. If the next week they receive 20 additional dollars, they will not become eligible. So it's just that period of time, that week that they have the $10 in their account, that they'll be eligible for the free minutes.
Okay, thank you. Senator Stairway?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say, thank you to everybody that worked on this. I think that at least it doesn't affect the inmate benefit fund, and it also enhances what Courtney Allen and her son wanted to accomplish, and I think, but also that I think Representative Kinney worked it, and it was to the point where I was wondering if it was going to make it, because it was like over $500,000 the sheriffs would have had to figure out where they'd pull it away from. And I think that this really answers that. And I was impressed with this new amendment. So I think, I'm certainly for this new amendment. I think, it meets Maine DOC, what they're okay with, and the Sheriff's Association. And also I think that it's a good mix. So I was impressed. So I just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Commissioner, I want to ask a question if things have changed. I'm not sure. Are the phones located right there in the housing unit? Is that it?
Yes, they are. Yes, multiple phones in each unit.
So that pretty much answers that question. Some do communicate and with other people that can listen. And it's usually that the prisoners monitor themselves, like, come on. And then that's when they go to the caseworker. Yeah, okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
It's not like it's a little room and private.
No.
And it's kind of loud in the background. Okay. So if there are no other questions, I would entertain a motion.
We have a ought to pass as amended a motion on the floor.
Okay. Now, Representative Warren, is that going to be this one? Do we have to clarify this?
An ought to pass as amended motion is the same motion. We may amend it at 3 different work sessions, but it's still an ought to pass as amended motion. It will be the same. I mean, even if you pulled it back and then put another one forward, it's exactly the same motion. It's an ought to pass as amended motion.
Everybody agrees with that? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I have Senator Stairway. Someone made a motion or a second? What? Senator Stairway, you had your hand up anyways.
Yes, I just want to clarify that we're accepting the ought to pass as amended as this last amendment. And I
Of
guess,
course,
okay, so that's what we want to
of
do.
course. Yes,
right.
it would be, it is
And then we
this
have-
amendment.
And it would be this, correct?
Sorry?
With the language review, it would be this
Of
amendment.
course, of
That's what
course.
we want to do.
Yes.
That's all.
And
Okay.
then if the day of language review, let's say that we all together made an additional change. Let's say that we all together said to our analyst, you know what, I think that one piece is wrong. Could you
Yeah.
make that change for us? It would still then go out with the
Right.
ought to pass as amended. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, I understand that part. I just didn't, I was kind of confused when you said there was 3 different amendments. So I'm
Yeah,
not sure what that meant.
It will
So,
be the one from today.
Okay, great. Thank
And
you.
Jane, as the parliamentarian that's here, can make a ruling at any point.
Representative Pickett.
You're on
Oops,
mute.
You're mute again.
I was
There
just
you
looking
go.
at, I was just looking at Jane there a few minutes ago while we were discussing this, and I think we're all on the same page, but I'd feel more comfortable if she would just say that what we're doing is proper procedure, so we don't screw this up.
I'm gonna pass on that opportunity. It's a matter, I mean, I think the most important thing is that you all understand what you're doing. So if you all understand what this ought to pass amended means, then you're clear on what road you're taking forward.
Why are you passing on it? Isn't it the role of OPLA to make rulings or to let us know if we're following the proper rules?
Let me just.
I don't actually think that's my role. I think my
Okay.
role is to help you, advise you on where the rules are, and then you make those choices.
Is it proper to say that the motion is as amended March 1st memo or something? Be more
Sure.
detailed? Okay. Who made the motion and how did you make it? And would you accept being specific, the amendment as presented and dated March 1st, 2022?
Senator?
Yes.
I have a procedural question and maybe Jane can answer it. So we're taking an amendment that Representative Morales made the motion, and I believe Representative Warren seconded. So she's not here. So what if she doesn't feel that she wants this amendment and we're passing the amendment that today that she hasn't even looked at or talked about in committee? And maybe that's fine procedurally. I just have that question. And that could go to Jane or Representative Warren, whoever can answer it.
We could take a break and get the parliamentarians here. I looked it up in Mason's manual. But if Jane is not wanting to answer, we can take a break. I'm happy to do that.
Well,
I've already answered the question.
I'm fine with the procedure. I'm just wondering, my question is does it change anything because she's not here? If she was sitting in the room, I understand totally that it's okay. But where she's not here, does that change anything? Only because she might not like this amendment and she's already made a motion to it. See what I'm saying? To amend it, and she hasn't even seen it. So that's my question.
And I'll weigh in that there was an amendment, and we can ask the parliamentarian, but I would kill that amendment and then make this amendment. And that to me cleans it up. So there was an amendment on the floor as if she was here and made it, and it was seconded. If it's overkill, I'd rather do overkill, but then we all know we voted on an amendment that was presented a couple of weeks ago that was different than this one. We don't like that amendment. So I'm just,
And the
looking
issue
at
is,
everything.
Madam Chair, Representative Morales isn't here. So are you suggesting we go through the process of vote, everybody's going to vote down to kill this amendment and then we'll make a new
correct.
motion? So let's just vote then.
Okay.
We'll all vote down.
So Jane, you're following that. Okay, there was an amendment and it was tabled and it's still here. So that amendment was the previous bill. So we pretty much know what that is because that gave us some heartburn and that's why we have the second one. So it's been moved and seconded. And so I will call a roll call. Ms. Fahey. Oh, we can't hear you, Deb.
Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. My mic was off. We're voting on a motion on the floor from 2/17/22. Ought to pass as amended by Representative Morales, seconded by Representative Warren. Representative Warren,
No.
Representative Morales is absent. Representative Reckitt,
Just a moment. You'll have to give me a couple of minutes.
okay. Representative Sharp is absent. Representative Lookner,
No.
Representative Lookner votes no. Representative Pickett,
No.
Representative Pickett votes no. Representative Costain,
No.
Representative Costain votes no. Representative Rudnicki,
No.
Representative Rudnicki votes no. Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Newman votes no. Representative Pluker is absent. Senator Lawrence is absent. Senator Searway,
No.
Senator Searway votes no. Senator DeChambeau,
No.
Senator DeChambeau votes no. And I'll circle back to Representative Reckitt.
No.
Representative Reckitt votes no. That's 9 no votes and 4 absent.
I
All
make a
right.
motion ought to pass as amended.
Second.
As amended on this date. Yeah. Okay. As amended. So it's been moved and seconded. No discussion. We're all set with that. Again, Ms.
That's
Fahey,
just
please.
putting the March 1st, 22, right? Correct.
Yeah.
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 Just to confirm, that was seconded by Senator Searway.
Yes.
Thank you. Representative Warren,
Yes.
Representative Warren votes yes. Representative Morales is absent. Representative Reckitt,
Yes.
Representative Reckitt votes yes. Representative Sharp is absent. Representative Lookner,
Yes.
Representative Lookner votes yes. Representative Pickett,
Yes.
Representative Pickett votes yes. Representative Costain,
Yes.
Representative Costain votes yes. Representative Rudnicki,
Yes.
Representative Rudnicki votes yes. Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Newman votes yes. Representative Pluker is absent. Senator Lawrence is absent. Senator Searway,
Yes.
Senator Searway votes yes. Senator DeChambeau,
Yes.
Senator DeChambeau votes yes. The motion passes with 9 yes votes, 4 absent.
Again, everybody said it, and I want to add my 2 cents. Thank you very much. It worked out. The more information we get, right? All right, good. Well, thank you. Thank you all. That concludes our meeting as far as any kind of bills. And for the general public, we had briefings scheduled and there are conflicts. So that will be rescheduled. They weren't bills, they were briefing reports. So that will be done on March 10th. And for the committee, we will see each other, bring a sleeping bag. It looks, very long days for Thursday or Friday. A lot to digest. So see you all and drive carefully, Representative Newman. Talk to you later.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
wait, do we have a language review at all?
Not today that I know of.
Okay, all right, just wanted to
Okay.
check. Yeah.
All right, Jane, anything? No, we're all set. And Deb, good. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Jane, did the 2 o'clock get canceled?
Yeah, it'll be